It was a rainy Thursday evening in New York City when six friends crowded into apartment 4B with takeout boxes, mismatched socks, and too many opinions. Jake Harper was the funniest among them, or at least he believed he was. Jake could turn any ordinary moment into a comedy show. When the microwave exploded while heating leftover pizza, Jake announced, "Congratulations, everyone! We are now the proud owners of the world's first indoor fireworks display." Emma Collins laughed so hard that soda came out of her nose. Noah Brooks, the practical one, sighed. "The landlord is going to evict us." "Worth it," Jake said. The bad day the next morning, Emma lost her job at a publishing company. She walked into the apartment trying to smile, but everyone could see the sadness in her eyes. Without asking questions, Jake stood on a chair and declared, "Ladies and gentlemen, today's special event is the Emergency Happiness Festival." Noah handed Emma a blanket. Lily Morgan baked cookies. Ben Carter put on ridiculous dance music. Sophia Reed performed an overdramatic reading of Emma's grocery list. "Eggs," Sophia said in a Shakespearean voice. "Milk and discounted cereal." For the first time all day, Emma burst into laughter. Why they matter. Weeks passed. Emma found a better job. Ben survived a breakup. Noah failed an important exam. Life kept delivering problems, but somehow the apartment never stayed sad for long. Whenever one of them felt broken, the others showed up with jokes, pizza, and terrible dance moves. One night, sitting on the rooftop overlooking the glittering skyline of New York City, Emma said softly, "You know what I realized? The most valuable people in life aren't the ones who fix your problems. They're the ones who make you laugh while you're going through them." Jake smiled. "So, I'm basically a licensed therapist." Everyone laughed. The last scene. Years later, they would move to different cities and begin new lives. But whenever life became overwhelming, one text message in their group chat was enough. "Emergency Happiness Festival tonight?" And no matter where they were, they smiled. Because some people are gifts. They don't remove the storms. They simply sit beside you in the rain and make you laugh until the clouds begin to clear. Moral of the story. The best friendships are not measured by how often you meet, but by how quickly they can turn your tears into laughter. Chapter 1. The House at the End of Maple Street. In the quiet town of Cedar Rapids, there was a small white house at the end of Maple Street. The paint was peeling, the porch creaked with every step, the mailbox leaned to one side as if it had grown tired of waiting. But every evening at exactly 5:30 p.m., an elderly woman named Eleanor Thompson sat on the porch in a faded blue rocking chair, clutching a single envelope. She had been doing this for 12 years, rain or shine, summer or winter. Every day she waited. The neighbors often wondered why. Children riding bicycles would wave, "Hi, Mrs. Thompson." She always smiled, "Hello, sweetheart." But her eyes never left the road. Because Eleanor was waiting for a letter. Not just any letter, a letter from her son, Daniel Thompson, the boy who had left home at 19 after a terrible argument and never returned. For 12 years, Eleanor had written to him every month. Birthday cards, Christmas letters, apologies, memories, expressions of love. None were answered. Still, she kept writing, because a mother never stops hoping. Chapter 2. The Argument That Changed Everything. Daniel had always dreamed of becoming a musician. He wanted to move to Nashville and write songs. Eleanor wanted him to stay in Cedar Rapids, attend college, and work at the family hardware store. The night before he left, they argued in the kitchen. "I need to live my own life," Daniel said. "You're throwing your future away," Eleanor cried. "No, Mom, I'm trying to find it." In anger, Eleanor said words she regretted the moment they left her lips. "If you walk out that door, don't expect to come back." Daniel stood frozen, his eyes filled with tears. Then he picked up his guitar and left. Eleanor waited for him to turn around. He never did. The next morning, his room was empty, and the silence in the house became unbearable. Every morning at sunrise in Central Park, an old man in a brown coat sat on bench number 42. He arrived at exactly 6:15 a.m. He carried a thermos of coffee, a folded newspaper, and a small red toy car. For 20 years, he had placed that toy car on the bench beside him and stared at the lake. Joggers passed him, dog walkers nodded, tourists snapped photos of the skyline. But the old man never missed a day. Rain, snow, Thanksgiving, Christmas, even on his 82nd birthday. Everyone in the park knew him as Mr. Walter, but nobody knew why he always carried the toy car, or why his eyes filled with tears whenever a little boy laughed nearby. Until one autumn morning, when a 7-year-old girl named Lily sat beside him and asked a simple question. "Mister, who are you waiting for?" Walter looked at the toy car in his trembling hands, and for the first time in 20 years he answered, "My son, the shoes under the Christmas tree." Chapter 1: The Worn-Out Sneakers. In Chicago, where winter winds rattled apartment windows and snow piled against the sidewalks, 12-year-old Emma Carter carefully hid her sneakers under her bed every night. They were old, faded, and 2 sizes too small. The soles were nearly worn through, and when she walked to school, cold water seeped in through tiny cracks. But Emma never complained. Her mother, Sarah, worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices in the morning and serving tables at a diner at night. Her father had passed away 3 years earlier, leaving Sarah to raise Emma and her 6-year-old brother, Noah, alone. Money was always tight. The rent was overdue, the refrigerator was often half empty, and Christmas was only 10 days away. One evening, as snow drifted outside their small apartment, Sarah sat at the kitchen table staring at a stack of bills. Emma noticed tears slipping down her mother's cheeks. "Mom?" Sarah quickly wiped her eyes and forced a smile. "I'm okay, sweetheart." But Emma knew the truth. There would be no Christmas presents this year, and that was fine with her. She only had one wish: a pair of shoes that didn't hurt to wear. The last customer at the diner, a heart-touching, emotional story for your USA YouTube channel, approximately 5,000 words. Chapter 1: Midnight at the Diner. On the edge of Boston, where streetlights reflected on rain-soaked pavement, Rosewood Diner stayed open 24 hours a day. Most nights were predictable. Truck drivers ordered black coffee. College students shared fries. Night shift nurses grabbed pie before heading home. And every evening from 10 p.m. until sunrise, 62-year-old Margaret Sullivan worked the late shift. Margaret had been a waitress for 37 years. She knew regular customers by name. She remembered birthdays. She slipped extra pie to lonely people who looked like they needed kindness more than dessert. But lately, Margaret looked more tired than usual. Her husband, Patrick, had passed away 2 years earlier. Her small apartment felt painfully quiet, and the only person she truly worried about was her son, Michael.